I'm referring to it being more humane for the rest of us not having to continually pay for this guy for the rest of his natural life. So there you have it. The jury reached their decision. I'm sure it was fair and square. I'm sure they were well reasoned when they went over all the evidence. And I'm sure that they will. I've heard some of them being interviewed after their verdict, and because the judge, I guess, informed them of other charges and trials that he has coming up that that the jurors were not privy to during the trial. And they said many of the jurors said, well, yeah, that it just hearing all that extra information. Most of the jurors said that they would be able to sleep doubly well tonight, knowing that they did the right thing. So, if they are that sure in with their decision and their verdict, then who am I to question it at this particular point in time? Because there doesn't seem to be any other evidence that would prove his innocence. Really, there doesn't seem to be any. Maybe we're missing something. I don't know. I didn't follow the trial, but there just doesn't seem to be any. There was no, non-smoking gun, if you will, to prove his innocence. So, goodbye, Aaron Hernandez. From the roles of the wealthy to Aaron Hernandez, convict and a drainer on the tax system. Thank you very much for being so arrogant that you thought you could get away with murder. And you didn't, evidently. You didn't. Harry Reid. I'm sure you've probably heard this story by now. Well, we all know that Harry Reid, I guess, the last medical report about Harry is that he's still blind in that one eye, in the right eye. And we're hearing reports now that I think I brought you this report earlier or late last week that there were people who thought that Reed was possibly beat up by somebody, by a family member, and it was not an exercise or skiing accident as he originally or first reported. And I said that I even told you none of that. The accident just didn't make any sense. The way that it was described, it didn't make any sense. There wasn't the injuries were not consistent with what the reason or excuse was for his face cheekbone fracture and eye blindness. It didn't make any sense. I'm not a medical professional, but that didn't make any sense. And so now we're learning. Again, hey, if you probably heard it here first. I told you that there was something wrong with it, the story. But now there's a story coming out that Harry Reid may have been beat up by his brother. That they got in a fight, and his brother Larry Reid put a whooping on Harry Reid. So I guess you could say I'm guessing it's Lawrence and Harold. So Lawrence Reid, brother to Harold Reid, beat up said Harold Reid. But that's not the real interesting thing, because look, there's nothing different with these Democrats when they try to. Well, I guess many politicians are probably guilty of personal stuff like that because they're trying to protect their image. I kind of think I can understand it. I don't have to accept it, neither do you, but you can understand it. They don't want people thinking that they're weak. Well, but I guess this is also not the first time that Harry has faced down an opponent, a potential opponent with fisticuffs. That's right. Here's a hot air story. Harry Reid complains, John McCain threatened to kick the shit out of me. Yes, I just said the S word. Because that's what the title of the story is on Hot Air. Conspiracy theorists are busying themselves with the notion that Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid from Nevada, is being somewhat less than truthful about the nature of his injuries he sustained at home during the holiday recess. Now, shrewd political actor that he is, perhaps Reed was planting a seed when he revealed to CNBC journalist John Harwood recently that his colleague, Senator John McCain from Arizona, had at one point threatened to beat him up. Now, I don't know. I guess John McCain's pretty tough then, huh? Because here's a guy who can't, really raise his arms past his shoulders, above his shoulders, and he's an old guy too. And he looks, he doesn't look as spry and as limber as Harry, but Harry's just one of these wimpy, mamby-pamby little, liberal, girly men Democrats. No wonder he's probably scared. Look, his brother, allegedly, beat him up. But it wasn't long ago that he came to me on the Senate floor, Reed says. What you just did, I'm going to come to the floor and kick the S out of you. That's what Reed told Harwood. And I said to him, John, if I were in your position, I would do the same thing. Now, what kind of nonsense is that? Oh, it's a liberal BS stuff. Oh, I understand. It's you know what that reminds me of. I'm going to take people back to the 1980s. Remember Sinead O'Connor, Sinead, whatever the freaky Irish songstress's name is, however you pronounce it. I don't care. She was untalented then. She's still untalented now. You know the one that's nothing compares to you. Nothing compares to you. That's about how she sounded to me. Really, I thought she was talentless. She was a talentless hack in the 80s. But this woman, she was such a liberal nut job, believing in nothing, espousing all kinds of liberal leftist crap, but believing in nothing. It just, all this espousal just made her, probably made her feel good about herself. But this is what Sinead O'Connor admitted to doing this on more than one occasion. She was a pretty controversial figure back then. And, when she was on tour, sometimes there would be protests outside of her concert, protesting Sinead O'Connor. Now, I don't remember what these other, nut jobs were protesting, but I do remember in an interview, she revealed something. She said, yeah, sometimes there will be, in her Irish brogue, there will be protesters outside of my concert venue. And she says, on a few occasions, and I do remember the reporter saying a few occasions, more than one, and she confirmed it by saying, yeah, on a few occasions, more than once, I would put on a disguise and I would go outside of the stadium and protest with them. And her reasoning was because she says, well, sometimes they may have something right about me. And it's good to show people and support people who have a differing opinion of myself. Now, I'm thinking this woman is actually going outside of her concert venue protesting herself. Well, if she believes in what the protesters are saying, why doesn't she change her opinion? Well, this is the same thing with Harry Reid. If Harry Reid is going to say, well, if I were in your shoes, John, I would do the same thing. Well, if Harry Reid is agreeing with John McCain that Harry Reid is being a total ass, why doesn't Harry Reid change then? Am I missing something? Is this? I know. I'm being logical, and I'm going to work myself up into a tizzy and probably start pulling my hair out if I continue to try to figure out liberals, true liberals, wacko liberals, nut job liberals. If I try to figure them out logically. But look, that is the way my brain works. It's the way I'm designed. I have to approach this logically. It is illogical for some, unless they just, the only logic is if they're trying to get a rise out of someone, and two, they don't believe in the crap that they're espousing. If they don't believe in the crap that they're espousing, then why are they doing it? Why are they espousing it? Why do they bring it forth in the form of public policy if if they don't believe it. Now, evidently, I guess, what Harry Reid was telling John McCain, John, I really don't believe this crap that I keep saying, but, I got to say it anyway because I'm a Democrat. And it makes a whole hell of a lot of people feel good and feel better about themselves if they latch on to what I'm saying. Well, Harry, this continues a theme with Harry Reid and, many liberals on Capitol Hill. When Harry Reid was asked if he regretted lying about Mitt Romney back in the last presidential race with Obama, and Reid flatly said no. I mean, Obama won, didn't he? So I regret nothing. So it's all about them winning. It doesn't matter how they win with the left, as long as they win. They're not going to give you the truth about their ideas and their ideals. Oh, no, they're going to lie about them, and then they're going to try to make it look like and perceive, and so people perceive that the right are these evil, money grubbing, what have you, that should not be elected. Now, that stuff used to work all the time. It's not working so much anymore. It still works because it got Obama reelected. But it still works to some degree. But it's not a fait accompli that if they use such tactics that they're going to win. The American people, the voter, is getting wise to this kind of crap. And the American voter were kind of, they kind of knew that Reid was lying about Romney in the first place. But it was already out there. So, and because Mitt didn't have the foresight to just take care of the issue before it became an issue, there were people at the time that questioned him, even some of his supporters. Well, Mitt, did you really? And what comes out later after the election is we find out that Harry lies, and he admitted it. But he says now, no, I don't have any regrets because why? Well, because Obama won re-election, and that's all that counts. It's not what's best for you and me and the rest of the country. It's about them gaining and retaining power. Power on Capitol Hill and power over your daily lives. That's what it's all about for them, on the left, the liberal. They do not care what you think. They do not care what your experience is. What they do care is that you have a microphone and that you are a point of contact for them in order to espouse and to distribute their liberal agenda and their liberal crap. So that's all that counts. Doesn't count if they tell you the truth, because Harry Reid knows this as well as Nancy Pelosi and all the other leftists. They know that if they tell you the unadulterated, absolute truth, few of you would vote for them. Only the diehards would vote, and they would not win elections. Which is why I'm here. I'm here to tell you the truth about what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're doing it, so you don't get caught in this trap of buying into their sound bites and believing the load of tripe that they dish on a daily basis. I mean, Harry Reid he's another evil little troll. He knows when he's lying. He knows that that he's lying, and he's willing to put that at risk by foisting all these kinds of lies in policy, in potential law. That's Harry Reid, folks. Now, you gotta, it is, Harry Reid is Harry Reid, I guess. Harry Reid is always going to lie to people. He's always going to lie to you and me. Nancy Pelosi is look, the left is they accuse the right of being liars. The left lies to us daily. And what's worse is that their only agenda in lying is not to get their agenda passed. No. That's not the big issue. The big issue with them is that their main agenda is and always has been the liberal agenda of defeating the conservative agenda by any means possible. They do not care if they lie. They do not lie. They do not care what happens if those lies hurt people. All they want to do is win. And basically, really all they want to do is beat